Hey everybody, I'm Zach Fitzpatrick, one of the pastors on staff at First United Methodist Church of Lawrenceville. And this past Sunday in the warehouse, we continued our No Perfect People Allowed series. And we looked at Matthew 5:48. Be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. Now on the surface, this seems like a command that we can't live into because none of us are perfect. But Jesus wouldn't tell us something that he didn't mean. And the way that he brings about this perfection in our lives is through transformation. One of the most famous transformation stories occurs in Acts chapter 9 in the life of Saul. Saul was one of the foremost enemies of the church, and very quickly, as a result of God's transformative work in his life, became one of the leaders in the early church. And it's this same transformation that's at work in our lives through the grace of God. And we looked at three main points that apply to this. The first is this: God's love for us never changes, but it changes us. God didn't hold Saul's sin against him, and it was because of that this transformative work happened. And in the same way, God doesn't hold our sin against each of us, but because of his transformative grace that's at work in each of our lives, it changes us. The second truth is this: transformation is not something we attain, but it's something we become. Just as God was the actor in the Damascus Road experience, so God is the actor. God is the one that's at work in each of our lives and hearts and minds, doing the work of bringing about that transformation. And finally, there's this: God brings wholeness, but expects willingness. When we say be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, Jesus didn't mean perfection in the way we define it. Instead, Jesus meant completeness, wholeness, maturity as a disciple of Jesus Christ. But God expects a heart that's willing for that to happen. God expects a heart that's willing to pour itself out so that the transformative grace of God can flood our souls and transform us into a new person, just as Saul was transformed into Paul. God brings wholeness, but expects willingness. God bless you this week. We'll see you next Sunday.